What is up, Soul Fam? It's Sundar from Substance Over Style, and welcome to a new video. Okay, so sorry, my incense is stuck. Okay, so today I want to talk about boundaries. I want to talk about boundaries because this has been coming up a lot with some clients that I've been working with recently, and then also just some of my interactions with some of y'all in the online space. So I was inspired to talk about boundaries because it's something that people are still struggling with, and until you get this and until you really start to understand it, your life is going to be, you're going to continue to manifest lower timelines until you start really establishing where your edges are and what feels good to you. Like, there's no way that you can manifest your higher timeline if you're allowing your boundaries to be trampled on. Okay, so I'll start with what triggered this. So I had a couple of people DM me recently, basically asking my advice on what they should do about this, that, and the other. Now, for me personally, like, I consider that it's not. Okay, I don't want to say it's a boundary violation because I never established the boundary. So obviously I need to establish a boundary with y'all and say, please do not slide into my DMs asking for free advice or free coaching, okay? Because that, for somebody who's like, you know, and I get that this is how it will work with boundaries, okay? Your boundaries are a constantly moving target. What feels good to you at 1 minute doesn't necessarily feel good to you in the next moment, okay? And boundaries, and this is where boundaries and consent are very interconnected, because it comes down to the issue of, like, okay, let's talk about sexual consent for a second. Just because you've had sex with somebody in the past doesn't mean that you're always obliged to have sex with them every time they want it, right? It's down to whether you also want it. So just because you've helped somebody in the past, or just because you've given somebody advice in the past, doesn't mean that you're now obliged to always do it. And my understanding of this was also very flimsy back in the day when I was younger and I was less integrated, and when also human consciousness was not quite so evolved on the subject of boundaries, consent, and personal sovereignty. You know, we're learning about this now collectively, and as we expand our consciousness. So I remember when I used to, I mean, I still model, right? But when I started modeling back in the day, you know, I would be at castings for the models and we would be discussing, you know, our careers and looking at portfolios and things like that. And I remember I had this thing where we were talking about, you know, whether we were comfortable modeling lingerie or topless or nude or whatever. And there was this kind of thing, there was this consensus that once you've done nude or topless modeling, that then you basically have crossed that level and you're now obliged to do it with everyone who wants to do it. Like, if a photographer sees that you've got nude photos, or a client sees that you've got nude photos in your portfolio, they will expect you to do it, so you're going to have to do it. Now, obviously, now we understand this kind of thinking as completely erroneous. Just because you did it one time doesn't mean that you're obliged to do it again. Let's say, for example, if you're a model, you might have a different rate for nude or lingerie, and then you can decide whether you want to do it or not do it, depending on, you know, it's on a case-by-case basis. You're not obliged to work with every client that comes to you. As a model, I'm not obliged to work for every client that comes to me. I can choose. You know, if I've worked for this client one time, I may decide I don't want to work for them again, or I may decide I don't want to work for them that particular day, but again, I may choose to. So this is where it comes down to your boundaries. Are you clear about your boundaries? And it's not like where you say, I'm not okay with this, and this is a boundary for me, don't ever cross it again. Or it may change from time to time, like, I'm not comfortable with this right now. So, you know, I understand why people are sliding into my DMs asking me for advice about their personal situation, because that was something that I was totally okay doing. When I first started talking, you know, sharing truth on my platforms and, you know, demystifying the occult and, you know, talking about spiritual concepts and things like that, and about my journey of healing and integration, I was quite happy to give free advice to people. That's how I ended up doing coaching and healing work, by giving free advice to people. Now that I'm doing it professionally, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with people sliding into my DMs asking me for personal help for their personal situation. If you need help for your personal situation from me, leave it in the comments. Like, I have so much free content on my Instagram feed, and also on YouTube, and now on Odyssey. You can easily just leave your question there, or in my Telegram group, just leave your question there and I will answer it, or somebody else from the community. There's a lot of very highly evolved souls who are in my community who can also help you and be helped by you. Okay, you've got to understand the energetics of exchange. Don't slide into somebody's DMs who you don't know, who you've never met. Just because I've responded to a few of your DMs doesn't mean that we know each other like that, okay? And I'm sorry if I'm being curt, but, you know, I just feel like this is why some of y'all are having issues, and this is why some of y'all don't know how to stand in your sovereignty, because you haven't got this down. You don't understand boundaries. And it's not just boundaries when it comes to, you know, your own boundaries, but it's also, you know, encroaching on other people's boundaries and understanding what's okay and what isn't. If you're not understanding the energetics of exchange, that when somebody is doing coaching or healing work as a career and as a business, they do not have time to be sitting there coaching you on your personal situation when they don't know you and you're not a paying client. Okay, book a session, or if you want just a free piece of advice, do it. You know, engage with their content, because it boosts their algorithm. It helps show their knowledge to the wider community, so it helps the wider community, and it encourages other people to book with them. Okay, nobody's gonna wanna just answer your questions just for free and take up time that they could be doing a million other things. So it's just not okay. Like, I would never. Like, okay, so my mentor, Emily, I'm in nearly every single one of her programs. You know, I invest in her work. I invest in her offerings. I've taken 2 of her most high-level offerings. I've had one-on-one sessions with her as well, and I've done all of her webinars ever since I came across her. Okay, so I'm a paying client. I would never slide into her DMs asking to pick her brain about my personal situation. I would book a session with her, or I would ask her during one of her Q&As, during one of our courses that we do with her. Now, I understand, obviously, I don't have group coaching programs at this time, but, you know, there's nothing to stop you just asking it in the comments. If it's a personal thing, then you should book a session, really. Like, so, I mean, this in particular was like, you know, questions about the juice, you know, the jungle juice, and people going, what should I do? It's just like, firstly, nobody can tell you what you should do other than you, because that's about your boundary and what you're willing to tolerate. Okay, without knowing your personal situation, I can't tell you what you should be doing. I can tell you what I would do, but I'm not in that situation. So this is the thing as well. Like, I get people, this is the same with clients as well. I get clients saying, what would you do in this situation? Often when it's related to issues around like intimate relationships, like they're dealing with a guy who's maybe, you know, some trust issues are coming up. Maybe they're not sure if they can trust him. He's talking to other girls. What would you do in that situation? The thing is, I would not be, a lot of the time I wouldn't be in those situations now, because I'm so much more embodied and integrated through my personal process, that I've learned to trust my body to the point where as soon as I see red flags, I'm out. I'm not there anymore. So I can't tell people what they should do. All I can do is I can help them connect to their own body and connect to what they think that they should do based on where they're at in the moment. Okay? That's what I do. I don't tell you what you should do because of what I would do. Okay? I can do that, but I know that y'all are going to go do something else, because everybody's at different levels, and there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. Okay? I'm not saying that you're bad or whatever. But like, really learn to connect to your body. And, you know, with things like, you know, what was it? It was mainly to do with, you know, the situation. And I know some of you are in really bad situations right now with, you know, what's happening right now with the world and, you know, the Great Reset and all those things that are happening. And you're being very, very tested. But this is where it calls upon you to trust your inner authority, okay? Don't look at me like I'm some kind of guru. If you think that I'm more spiritually powerful than you, it is only that belief that I'm more spiritually powerful than you, or other people are more spiritually powerful than you, that is standing between you and your own spiritual power. Start sourcing directly to your creator. Listen to the voice of your creator. Okay? That will tell you what to do. Okay, I know it's tough. I know it's tough right now. You know, I know that they're, you know, taking away all your rights and your freedoms, and, you know, getting you to get you to submit to this. But you got to know that as things get more intense, and as psychopathy reveals itself more and more, the truth will out. The truth will out. And when you source directly to God, you stay safe in that knowing. I mean, this is also why I tell you guys, you have to heal the trauma in your body, because when you have trauma in your body, you dissociate, right? So when you dissociate, you don't trust your body anymore and the intuitive hits that you're getting. So, you know, do trauma healing work, whatever trauma healing work you like. I mean, you can do my programs. I've recommended my main offering is Reclaim Your Crown. It is one of the fastest and most effective techniques for removing trauma from the body, and it's an ascension pathway that will activate the Hieros Gamos, which is the union of the masculine and feminine within your body. So everything will start to align, okay? You will clear trauma from your body, you won't get triggered so much, you'll save yourself years of looping, you'll start to balance your masculine and feminine energy so that you come into union with a more healthy partner as well. You'll become a match for a more balanced, if you're a woman, a more healthy masculine partner, and vice versa. And you'll start connecting to your creator and start manifesting higher timelines. You'll start to listen to the subtle movements of energy in your body, and you'll start to trust your intuition. You'll start to access streams of divine consciousness, whatever your gifts are, whether it's clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, all of those gifts will start to come online. It's a full-on ascension technology. That's why I talk about it in every single video, because I'm so passionate about it. And you don't even have to do it every day. It's a 10-day program. I don't do it every day. It's changed my life, and I do not do it every day. That's how fast it is and how effective it is. You can also do breath work. I've got my breath work. It's not my breathwork course, it's the Yogi Labs, but I'm an affiliate for it. Full disclosure about that. And I do not promote products that I don't believe in. It's been highly effective for removing layers of trauma from my body before I started doing the Kriya Yoga. Like the most intense trauma that was causing me to dissociate, I did 3 breathwork sessions, and it removed all of that to the point now where when I do it, I start to get supercharged and my dopamine starts to activate and I feel really confident. There's other techniques as well, okay? Quantum field work that I do with my one-on-one clients also collapses out traumas and timelines and, you know, heals triggers, and we can do a lot. We can activate gift templates, we can bring your gifts online. So I have a lot of offerings that will help you with those things, and I encourage you to consider investing in those offerings, because you're only going to get so much from, you know, watching free content on YouTube. But, you know, if that's not the modality for you and you don't want to, that's fine. You know, there are other modalities as well out there which will help with trauma healing. I don't necessarily talk about them because I'm not necessarily trained in them, so I can't really recommend them. But I do recommend all my one-on-one clients do natural dance every day, especially. Okay, so I do recommend to my one-on-one clients, and I'm going to recommend this to you as well, to do an embodiment practice every day. And I personally recommend natural dance. You know, just put on your favorite music and dance around your room for 10 minutes every day, especially if you're having issues with boundaries, if you're healing any kind of sexual trauma, or I mean any kind of trauma in general, because it helps you feel your feelings and connect to your emotions. When you connect to your emotions, you realize what feels good to you and what doesn't feel good to you. Okay, and that's where you find your boundary and your edge. So let's talk about boundaries, okay? How do you know what's a boundary, okay? And boundaries are not like necessarily like, no, this is no and this is yes. It's not always like that, okay? It can be more like, And especially when it comes to our relationships. Let's talk about our relationships with men. If you're a woman and you're having a relationship with a man, being able to express your boundaries in a way that draws him in rather than pushes him away is so key to having a healthy union. Can't even tell you, okay? Now, being able to do this comes down to you really honoring yourself and really understanding that you are sacred. Okay, you are sacred to God and you are sacred to yourself. Okay, and this is why I tell you to source to God, because when you source to God and you develop a relationship with the Most High, and with not just the Most High, but the immortal masculine and the immortal feminine aspects of God. Okay, 'cause God has both masculine and feminine traits unified in sacred union together. Okay, so there's the Sophia, the Holy Spirit, which is the divine feminine. I experience that as like streams of wisdom that kind of move through me, or creativity, or sometimes like a sensual or a sexual energy. And I experience the masculine as like electric, kind of action orientated, like just like a knowing, like it's more like instinctual. That's how I experience it. Okay, it might be different for other people. When you start to connect to those two energies and start to feel how those two energies feel within your body, and you start to really trust them, then you're able to express to a man what's a yes and what's a no. So let's say he's doing something that you don't like, that makes you feel uncomfortable. It's not about you telling him what to do, okay? Because we don't tell people what to do, okay? Because that's encroaching on their boundaries. You just say, and this could be a man that you're in a relationship with, that you're married to, or a man that you're dating. You say, listen, I understand that that's something that you like to do, or that's part of who you are, but that doesn't feel good to me. That makes me feel uncomfortable. That makes me feel jealous. That makes me feel insecure, okay? When you really start to connect to your emotions and you understand that your emotions are the sacred doorway that open up your heart, your womb, like all of those sacred spaces that he wants to be inside of, he will have to honor and cherish them. Okay, if you're with a man who doesn't honor and cherish your emotions, then maybe you need to consider whether you want to stay in that type of relationship, because for a woman to be in a healthy relationship, she needs to feel safe. And if she's in a relationship where her feelings, her emotions are not honored and cherished, she's not going to feel safe. Okay, when it comes to activating the Hieros Gamos, you need to honor your feminine heart and who you are as a feminine energy being. Okay, we're not 50-50 with this stuff. Okay, you can be if you want to, but I personally don't want to be in a relationship where my emotions and his emotions are honored equally, because he's not the emotional partner in the relationship. Okay, I'm the emotional partner because I'm a woman. Okay, so the woman is she's the guiding compass. She steers the ship through her emotional body. That's why we are different. Okay, we have different hormones that run through our body, men and women. Okay, that's why women experience their emotions more intensely. So when you connect to your emotions and you communicate your emotions to him, you're actually steering the ship and you're manifesting a higher timeline for the both of you. So if he's going around like flirting with other women, and that makes you uncomfortable, and you don't say anything, you don't honor those intuitive feelings that you're getting from your body, you will start manifesting lower timelines. You will feel insecure, you will not open up, he will feel rejected, and so it continues. When he feels rejected, he will go to other women to seek solace and comfort and that feminine energy that he's not getting from you, and it creates this cycle that keeps perpetuating itself. So it's incumbent upon you to actually be vulnerable, to honor your emotions, and to let him in. As you let him in and you open up and invite him into your emotional world, you start to create that intimacy that men crave from us. It's not just, sex that they want from us, okay? The sex is the indicator that you've already let him into your emotions. But unfortunately, it's supposed to be, but unfortunately in today's day and age, because of so much gender splitting warfare that is targeted at unions, we have reversals in our sexual energy. So a lot of the time we've got women who are actually opening themselves up sexually but not opening themselves up emotionally. Okay, but when we repair the heart womb architecture, which is, you know, in Reclaim Your Crown, we do that as well. But definitely it's one of the things that comes up a lot in my fieldwork sessions with clients. I think nearly every single client has, I've done some work on their womb heart architecture or their sacral heart architecture if they're a man. So where was I going? What was I saying? Yeah. So when you say, listen, when you do that, it makes me feel really insecure, it makes me feel jealous. I don't like that. It makes me feel like, and be honest. It makes me feel like I want to flirt with other guys. And I don't actually want to flirt with other guys, but I feel like I have to compete. And you let your shadow out. Own your shadow, okay? We're in Scorpio season, right? Okay, so let's use this season, this month, as an opportunity to actually reintegrate those shadows and bring those shadows to the light, okay? Because that's sexy. When you bring your shadow to the light and own it as a part of you and don't disown it, don't shame it or vilify it, you bring yourself back into wholeness and you become more powerful. Just be like, it makes me feel like I want to compete. It makes me feel like I also want to flirt with other guys when, you know, I know that that's not really what I want. I want something that feels really safe and connected. It makes me feel like I don't want to be intimate with you. Like I feel pissed off when that's happened. I get triggered. You know, when you start to open yourself up in that way, you create that intimacy that then, you know, gets those fires burning and becomes really juicy and hot. So your boundaries can be sexy, okay? They're not like this ring fence, okay? So many women are scared to put up boundaries because they think that they need to be, you know, just open and just cool, and I'm the cool girl. Like, dude, do not be the cool girl. It's not cool to be the cool girl, okay? Have standards. Have standards, girls. Do not be afraid to have standards, because when you don't have standards, men, I've said this before and I'll say it again, men will be as good or as bad as you allow them to be. It's incumbent upon you as the feminine. You are the muse, okay? And when you hold them to the highest standard, they will elevate. They will have to meet you there, okay? Because you hold yourself in high esteem, so they will hold you in high esteem, and they acknowledge you as the prize that they have to win. Men love a challenge. And when they see, okay, I got to be a good guy, I got to be a good man, this woman is expecting me to have character, to have morals, to have integrity, to be honest, to be trustworthy, to be loyal. When he is those things for you, then he becomes those things for the world. That's how we change the world, okay? That's how we change the world. When we heal ourselves, we change the world, okay? Because obviously men, this whole thing that men have all the power, they don't. We're the hidden hand, okay? We have the power over them, and then obviously they have physical power in the world, in the, you know, to manifest things physically, but it works together, okay? It's the hieros gamos. It's not, you know, men against women. We need to reunify, and we do it through the body, like the feminine, okay? You got to connect to your body. You got to connect to what feels good. Same with sexual boundaries, okay? So I used to have terrible sexual boundaries, to the point where I couldn't, like, when I was healing from this and identifying the patterns, I realized I had to go through a whole process where I couldn't even kiss a man or cuddle a man, because I didn't trust myself even to be able to kiss and cuddle and stop it there. Because even if I didn't want it to go further, it would just end up going further and sex would happen, even if that's not what I wanted. Also, if you have any kind of sexual trauma in your past, it runs reversals in your sexual energy. So it makes your sexual boundaries very, very weak. So even if you know, like your head, because the reversals are between your heart and your sacral, also there's a disconnect between your head and your body. And so your head might be like, oh, I don't think I should be doing this, but your body actually wants it and is getting turned on and does it. So, you know, the only way that you can fix that, you can't just keep telling yourself, don't sleep with him. You've actually got to repair your sexual energy and, you know, repair the inversions. So you know, I had to actually have a period of celibacy where I wasn't intimate with anybody, and then slowly start to to work on my embodiment through dance, through breath work, through yoga, through journaling, all of the stuff, okay? Womb work. Womb work is it's a very multi-dimensional thing. It's not like one thing, okay? There's obviously physical things that you can do, like yoni eggs and steaming and things like that, but it's also just a lot of connecting to your emotions, because the sacral chakra is all about your emotions. What else did I want to say? What else did I want to say? Yeah, so your boundaries are not even so much as like what you say. It's almost just a frequency. Like when you really start to embody what is okay and what is not okay with you, people don't really try it so much. Yes, you will be tested in the beginning. When you first start to heal this, you will be tested in the beginning, and then you will have to be, no, that doesn't feel good to me. Yes, that feels, and then as you start to get more comfortable, people won't even try certain things with you anymore, because they'll just know. They'll just know that that isn't okay with you. Okay, so like, yeah, I mean, it's the same with the, people DMing me. Like clearly, basically the last few weeks, I realized that, there were still some areas where I needed to tighten up my boundaries. Like, was I allowing myself to be siphoned and harvested by people, internet connections who, I don't really know me? Because obviously you guys know I'm a person, I'm out there on social media talking about this, talking about that. And I love connecting with so many of you amazing awakened souls. But sometimes people can take the piss and cross boundaries and be over familiar and try and be my friend, and it's, sometimes it gets to the point where I'm just like, nah, and then I have to put up a hard boundary. So, I'm also examining, like, where have I, been leaking? Because this is what happens, right? It'll start off small. Emily teaches this in our course, without going into too much detail, because I shouldn't be giving away her codes. But you've got your light body, right? And your body will tell you, it will give you gut feelings about people. So let's say somebody comes to you and asks if they can borrow some money. Now, you really don't want to give them any money. You'd rather not. You'd rather keep your money for yourself. You maybe don't have a lot of money at the moment, but you feel like they really need it, and you feel really bad for them, especially if you're, a person who's on a spiritual path and you're very empathic. A lot of us who are empathic have inverted empath templating, okay, or wounded feminine energy. Again, it's caused by reversals in our sexual energy, okay, where we don't know how to protect our energy from other people, and we start feeling their pain and things like that. So this person's desperate, they need your money, and you don't really want to give it, but you're like, okay, it's only £10. I'll just give them £10 and that will really help them, and it will do a lot for them. As it turns out, because you didn't trust yourself, it didn't solve their problem, because they weren't motivated to actually fix their spending habits. Sorry, I just want to refocus. It just perpetuated the belief system that somebody will always bail them out should they get into problems. I hate it when the camera does this. Okay, I think I have to stay there if it wants to stay in focus. Yeah, it doesn't actually help them, because 3 weeks later they're still in the same position, they're still broke, and they come back to you asking for more money. Now, if you continue to betray yourself, you might find that you end up giving them more and more and more money, and then they owe you a massive amount of money. You might never get it back, and they might still be about to become homeless or not have any money to pay for food or whatever it is in 6 months, because you didn't actually listen to yourself. That intuition is the voice of God, okay? And I know that sounds like a lot, and it's very difficult, because especially if you've got triggers and traumas, a lot of the time, and this is what I used to feel like, I would be like, how do I know if it's my intuition or if it's a trigger? A lot of the time it's both, okay? You're getting triggered because you've seen this shit before. You can see that this is repeating a pattern. This is a pattern based on whatever you went through in your childhood that you're now seeing with this person. You're just like, it could just be me getting triggered. This is like, yeah, you're getting triggered because this is the same shit It's the same lesson that you need to learn now that you didn't heal then. Go heal that thing. Use this opportunity to heal that thing so that you don't keep on getting into these situations with people and you learn to trust your intuition in the first place. So it's like that. And, you know, I've been through it. So there's no judgment here, okay? I've done all the wrong things and that's how I ended up healing it. And now I'm assisting other people with learning to trust themselves and learning to say no. Doesn't matter, you know, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your husband, just say no, I'm not comfortable with lending you money or giving you money for whatever reason. You know, you just sometimes just got to do it. You just got to be, you got to be unafraid to be liked. Did that make sense? Did that make grammatical sense? Too many people are worried about what people think of them. They want to be liked. It's people pleaser. Like when you're a people pleaser, you end up getting siphoned and you end up getting fucked. And if your life isn't going the way that you want it to, it might be because you're bleeding out all your energy into these lower timelines. So learn to seal up your field, learn to trust your intuition. If you feel that you're dissociating because you've got too much trauma in your body and your nervous system is going haywire and you don't want to trust it, do work on trauma release, okay? My course, Reclaim Your Crown, will help you with that, or you can find whatever other techniques you want. Okay, so at this point, I feel like I'm just repeating myself now. But yes, when it comes to all the things that are happening right now with the Galactic War, I just wanted to say, guys, please hold the line. Everything is working out for us, okay? You got to trust and believe that things are always working out for us, okay? As fucked up as it may seem, the more, I've said this before, I'll say it again, the more dark it gets, the more people will awaken. For every new psychopathic thing that they throw out, more people wake up. Look at what happened at Astro World the other day, okay? How many people woke up just from that? It's so, like, people who were not super awake have literally said that they are convinced that, you know, that they were there, that they were like, it was, people were saying it was like a concert in hell and there was a demonic energy. People are starting to be able to see and feel and perceive beyond the veil, okay? They're realizing what's going on. They're understanding that these people in power are hosting things, that they're not, you know, they're not, these are not God-sourced people who have our best interests at heart. That's obvious to the most people now, okay? It might take a little bit more time before they really wake up to the truth, but understand there's a lot of truths that even you and me don't know, okay? So for the next, Emily's talked about this, check out Emily's latest field update because it was really good. But she talks about, you know, she predicts that there's going to be a lot of disclosure happening over the next 2 years. I also believe that to be the case as well from what I'm seeing, you know, happening in the world with all the changes and, you know, just following my intuition, but based on the things that I'm objectively seeing manifesting in the 3D, but then also putting the pieces together and seeing the future, potential future timelines of how this thing could play out. A lot of things are going to be disclosed, and I think that there's going to be things disclosed that even we don't know, even truth seekers like us were not aware of. That's probably going to blow even our minds. So try and go easy on the sheeple. I've always said, hold the light. Like, I know it's hard, especially when, you know, many of you are ostracized. Had a wonderful chat with you guys in Telegram. Oh my God, that was so amazing. Yeah, that's another thing. Because obviously, you know, when you guys are DMing me and asking for support, I understand that I need to have some spaces where you guys can receive that support. So, the Telegram live chat voice chat that we had the other day was so amazing. Thank you so much to everybody who joined. It was, you know, so it's basically you can go live on Telegram, just voice or video, and then, you know, everybody's got their little microphones as well. I can unmute people's microphones and everybody can join the conversation. So it was like just a voice chat, like a big conference call that we all had, and it was just so uplifting, so nourishing, really nice to connect with everyone, and that would be a space where you guys seek support. So I would like to host more of those. I would like to do them weekly if I can manage it with my schedule. I'm super busy right now, not just with healing work, but other things that I'm doing as well, modeling and various other business projects that I do for myself and also with my family. And what else? Yeah, I also have plans to do a Facebook group. So, you know, it's on the list. Again, 1,000,001 things to do. Please be patient with me. I will be opening a Facebook group. It's going to be, my vision is that it's going to be for women only, and we're going to be talking about Hyros, Gamos and union and, you know, sexual energy and sacred sexuality. And I want it just for women because obviously then we can talk more freely when there aren't men involved. Not that I don't love all you guys who are also on my platform, but I think this one I want just for the girls, and it will be a space where you can kind of bring your kind of the issues that you're having with your unions and with your relationships and get support from other people who are on the Hyros Gamos journey. So yes, that's all I want to talk about. I think I can maybe even upload this to YouTube. So yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below. Let everyone benefit from whatever issue you're having. I'll love you and leave you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, one love.